A hot topic at the moment is how to reduce your expenses to make the cost of living more bearable. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Reece, and in today's video, I'm going to try my best to not rehash the same conversation that comes up every single time this topic comes about, and instead shed some light on why it's important to go through this process semi-regularly, and not only when times get tough. And throughout the video, I'll give some examples that don't get mentioned often enough in my own opinion. Auditing your expenses regularly is a very financially beneficial thing to do. Think about how much money you're going to spend paying for services over the course of your life. For most people, I think it's pretty safe to say that that figure will be somewhere in the tens of thousands, if not the hundreds of thousands, over a lifetime. And in today's day and age, people are out of touch, and it really shows. Just take a look at this post here from Jess Irvine, an Australian economics journalist, stating that she can easily find $900 a month if required by removing just 2 of her personal expenses, being her gym membership and her holiday fund expenditure. This is also coming from someone who is earning in the top 3% of all Australians. It can be quite frustrating reading these helpful tips and tricks when they're not even remotely relatable to the average user. Now, in Jess's defense, I understand that everyone's situation is different, but honestly, reading posts like this just make me laugh, as they are never even going to be remotely relatable to the average Australian, like I just said. For anyone wanting to reduce expenses, reading articles like that just isn't helpful. So what are you really supposed to do when money starts to get tight and you need to make every single dollar count in order to get by? Well, the first thing on the list is absolutely without a doubt a subscription audit, where the usual go-tos are things like your streaming services, being both audio and visual, that's like Netflix and Spotify, just to name 2. Your gym memberships, cosmetics for the ladies who might be spending quite a significant amount of money getting their nails done regularly, maybe their brows, their eyelashes, things like that. You can pretty much put a list together yourself, but just to name a few of them, this is what you want to be looking at first. And then of course, I have to mention it that bringing under control things like your daily coffee spends, any takeaway food, impulse purchasing, and my personal favorite, alcohol spending, is obviously going to alleviate pressure. I'm not going to go any deeper into each of those examples. I think they speak for themselves. It is a topic that is rehashed quite often, but I mentioned them just to begin today's video off with because they are literally the first step you take to reducing expenditure when money starts to get tight. And if you take anything away from today's video, kind of ignore the list that I just gave you and understand that this is a reminder to go and shop around for better deals. Replace your existing subscriptions with better ones if you can. Using the gym membership, find a better gym to go to that's going to cost you less. There are competitive options out there. If you're not looking to shop around anymore because you're not really using it when you do your audit, cancel the subscription. That is another reminder to go and do a double check on anything you're paying for that you probably shouldn't be paying for. And thirdly and finally, make sure that you are trying to be as disciplined as possible, especially when you're in social settings that might put pressures on you to spend money that you don't want to spend. One very good example is going out to dinners with friends. Here in Australia, where I live in particular, to go out with friends and have a meal and potentially buy an alcoholic beverage like a cocktail is going to set me back about $20 just for the drink alone, which in a lot of circumstances would cover the food portion of my meal, which is crazy to me. Like the cost of alcohol spending, whenever I go out for dinners, which I do quite regularly, I can literally remove a large chunk of that bill by simply removing the alcohol expenditure. Personally, I audit each of these expenses within this category roughly every 3 months, just to make sure that I'm not spending unnecessarily, and it allows me to kind of take a step back and just go, what and where can I save money if I want to? And am I spending too much on these things in my own opinion? Am I getting a bit carried away? This is a reminder to take action. Okay, moving on from the more obvious things that you want to audit, let's talk about step 2 now, which is looking at your fixed expenses. How can you reduce where your fixed expenses sit? And what I'm referring to here is more of your cost of living subscription expenses, things like your internet and your phone bills, your energy bills. So who are you with for electricity and gas? Your insurances like your private health, your car insurances, and your home and contents insurance. And my favorite, your mortgage. If you have one, this can be a big savings point because right now is a relatively good time to consider refinancing. There are lots of competitive offers out there. And I've actually made videos discussing how to go about doing these checks and looking for better deals, what you really need to be considering when doing them, and how the process works. I've left links down in the description below to a lot of them. Definitely give them a watch if they are something that you might be interested in learning more about, or you feel like you're not educated enough on the topic and would like to have a better understanding of how to go about doing these things, because who knows, you might actually end up finding out after doing a bit of research that you're currently paying way too much for some of these services and can be saving a significant amount of money over time. Now would also be a really good opportunity for you to go and hit that like and subscribe button down below. It really does help the channel grow. I really do appreciate the support, and it does not go unnoticed. And I really want to put a bit of emphasis on this point as well. If you are someone who hasn't done this in a long while, it can be incredibly beneficial. I am someone who does it semi-regularly, and I'm about to give you one example of something I've gone through in recent months to reduce my current cost of living expenses. I have done an audit myself, and I've reduced my phone bill, my energy bill being both gas and electricity charges, and two of my insurances being my private health and my home and contents insurance as well. I know people who have refinanced and gotten a little bit of a decent kickback in that period of time, and it's working out pretty beneficially overall, all round, in the times where inflation is causing the cost of things to go up. I have estimated that I'm saving roughly between $100 and $200 a month by making these changes, and it really only took me a couple of hours of research to figure out where I was sitting in terms of what was being offered out there, and then to make those changes, it wasn't overly difficult. I have to say it again, I really encourage people to do this if you have not looked at your cost of living expenses for a long period of time. And that brings me to the third and final step of today's video, earning rewards for the dollars that you're spending now to save on future expenses. And realistically, all you're going to have to do is sign up to some of these reward programs and link a relevant card to that account so it tracks and gets you those rewards when you spend money. Here in Australia, I personally generate points when I run expenses through my credit card, whether it be casual spending, whether it be cost of living bills, things that I have to pay for to continue living my day-to-day life, or paying for services and activities that I might get an experience out of. As that bag of points grows, I can then actually use them to alleviate costs and pressures that I would have to be spending to go on a holiday, for example, where then the money that I'm saving can go back into my pocket and be used elsewhere. Or if I'm feeling pretty generous to myself, I can enjoy the holiday to the fullest by allocating that money towards it and just getting more out of the time I'm spending away. I've actually made a video covering this topic. I think it's a good watch and something that if you're interested in learning more about, feel free to give it a watch. It's not that long, and it's something that I think would be beneficial to anyone who has no idea what I'm talking about, or even someone who is doing it but not capitalizing on its full potential. Links are down in the description below. Feel free to give it a watch. It's worth doing the work now to be passively earning these rewards over time to reduce the cost of future purchases you make. And that, as an overview, is the best approach to auditing your expenses. If you do come across pretty good deals, don't be afraid to jump on them, as it's only going to benefit you in the long run as you make these changes and save money. I believe every dollar saved really does add up over time. Don't be lazy, do the work, and who knows, you yourself might find yourself saving thousands of dollars every year just from doing a little bit of upfront work and spending a bit of your free time looking into these opportunities. And that is where I'm pretty much going to leave you today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope it was insightful. I hope you learned something. And if you did, please hit that like and subscribe button down below. Like I said before, it really does help the channel grow. I really do appreciate the support, and it does not go unnoticed. And that is pretty much all I have for you today. Have a good day, have a good week. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.